Hello, I am back, and I have recently been consuming a lot of VHS content. Like, an exorbitant amount. Everything from the development, to the playstyles, to the weapon types, to the survivors' backstories. Excuse me, teens. It's gonna get difficult distinguishing between teens and survivors. But whatever, here we are. During my huge VHS binge, I came across a video that really interested me, and this was the concept of future monsters to come out. And as a man who loves theory crafting, I love coming up with new killer concepts, perk ideas. I love that whole thing. It really piqued my interest because it kind of opens a whole new world for licensed characters. In VHS, it's more about movie monsters, while Dead by Daylight is more of a serious tone with slasher characters like Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers, and I guess even Pinhead to some extent. They're slasher villains, human characters that kill other human characters. Well, VHS is going to be based around generally monsters killing human characters. So, what does that give us? That gives us a lot of options for interesting characters down the line. And I'm just going to go over a few that I found. Well, not a few. I kind of made a huge comprehensive list. I went through tons of films from the 80s and a little further beyond that and came up with a bunch of cool ideas that could be in this game. Anyways, so let's get straight into that. I'm going to start originally with the Golden Era movie monsters. Let's think of probably the big one himself, that'd be Dracula, or a vampire, that kind of archetype. We could get a version of the original Count Dracula, in that style, very old school vampire with the cape and the cloak, very cheesy movie monster kind of thing, right? It doesn't even need to be the stereotypical vampire. It doesn't have to be Dracula. It could be a character like Nosferatu. He's also very iconic in his own capacity. And I'd like to see Nosferatu in a game. I actually have a whole monster design already made for the Dracula archetype, but I think I'm going to make a separate video entirely discussing that. Right now, this is just discussing the types of characters we could see. Another cool one could be the Mummy/Pharaoh one. In Dead by Daylight, we have the Plague, which is kind of the play on the Mummy. She's an ancient Babylonian disease-ridden character who kind of looks like she's wrapped up and covered in sage and all that. So as close as you can get to the Mummy without being a mummy, but she's a vommy mommy, so here we are. So think of like a Pharaoh mummy character, could be running around chasing the people. Another cool one would be the Invisble Man. Much like Wraith, but more, cheesy. When I'm talking about VHS, most of these characters aren't going to be serious, and if they are serious characters, they're going to be more played off as comedic. This game is not a serious game. This is a fun asymmetrical horror game. And then, of course, we have Frankenstein. We could have a ghoul, kind of human experimentation character where it's just body parts all stitched together. They could do a lot with the Frankenstein type of character. I think they definitely could just do the normal Frankenstein character and it could kind of work. Frankenstein's kind of a goofball. My favorite, though, of these personally is Jekyll and Hyde. We could very well see a character who drinks potions that transforms them into something else. I actually, out of all the characters I've made quick mock-ups for monsters, Jekyll and Hyde is probably my favorite and the most well-developed one, and is definitely going to get a video about it. The Jekyll and Hyde archetype is really cool because it's a man transforming into a monster and transforming back through potions or whatnot, right? Little sneak peek with the Jekyll and Hyde archetype, I think we could finally get a asymmetrical game with a mimic character. So the Jekyll side would be a teen who's in the match, and then they have to transform into the Hyde side to do damage to them. But while they're mimicked as one of the teens, they could get some sneaky hits, they can do some sabotaging around the map, do a lot of crazy distractions. But now I'm going to get into more of the more 80s kind of movie monsters that I think would be personally really cool to see in this game. And the first one on my list, and I'm kind of weirdly excited for it and also made a mock-up, it's the Blob. You know, the movie, the Blob, where the big pink blob goes around absorbing people and turning him into mush. How could this be a character in VHS? I very well could see a blob running down a hallway attacking teens. And done right, you could totally make the power work very well. I also want to talk about the Gremlins. I'm not sure how you could make the Gremlins work, but I think it's just really cool to have the idea of little gremlins all around the map. It could work similar to the Puppet Master, where you have like multiple puppets placed across the map, and you can take control of them and attack the teens while being hidden. You could do something like that with the Gremlins, where you have Spike as the main one, and you have all your little gremlins running around, but that seems very redundant when you have the Doll Master. So the Gremlins are one I have my eye on, but I don't really have a grasp on how they would be a cool, or how to make them work in VHS. Another very exciting one for me, and a personal one I want to see in it. Every horror game has to have a clown. And the clowns I'm talking about are killer clowns from outer space. They're scary and menacing, but insanely comedic and fun. This is actually one of my favorite B movies ever. It's just so absurd you can't help but enjoy it. So I would love to see some weird alien-esque type clown character chasing you down in all these maps. I think it'd be very fun and fascinating, and you could do a lot with the power. Actual clown powers, not just them throwing tonics. And a kind of left field pick here, but Christine. Or a possessed car, you know. You don't have to do the Christine model, but I think a possessed car could actually work in this. You would have to do a little... This would be a difficult one to implement, but I think with the tone of the whole game, you could easily figure out a way to make Christine work. I have a few ideas, and I might go over them in another separate video, but I just like the idea of a car chasing you down, driving really fast through like school hallways. I think it'd be really cool, and it's something we wouldn't have ever expected to see from a game like this. But VHS opens that possibilities. Another one, another big one, and I stand behind this because I want it so badly. This is my first ever movie, actually. This is the first movie I ever watched. My parents were not very responsible, and that's Chucky. Chucky, the possessed doll. Just give us Chucky. He can be the only licensed character in this game. I don't care. Give us Chucky. Behavior has made it clear they don't really want to work with Chucky. And I think it's a damn shame, because Chucky could have a lot of possibilities. But since Behavior doesn't want to go down this route, I'm looking you, VHS. Chucky. You can work. You have the Doll Master, so small characters are feasible in this. And of course you have, you know, the old, like, 50s movies where they just turned any animal giant and it became a movie monster. So I think that'd be really fascinating and a love letter to those old cheesy films. You could have a giant spider or a shark on land, something like Jaws, but like a land shark. You could do this with a giant frog, a spider. We kind of have Wart for this, but he's more of a mixture of a giant mutated animal and the creature from the Black Lagoon. So this is a cool area I think I just wanted to touch on, but who really knows what animal would work best? I'm kind of curious. What giant animal do you think would work? Let me know in the comments, right? And we can have a discussion about it. The one I think I want to see the most, and I think a lot of people really, really would like this, is Audrey 2.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me all night long.
From Little Shop of Horrors. Imagine this, a giant plant, like mouth, chasing you down the hallways. If this was also a licensed character, I think it'd be fantastic. They could do a giant plant monster that chases you down, similar to Little Shop of Horrors, but if they licensed out Audrey too as a character, that'd be amazing. This wisecracking, soulful plant would be hilarious to go against in matches. I just think the idea of a giant plant monster is very, very 80s, very cheesy, and very fun in the spirit of VHS, so let's see something like that. And out of the last of the big ones I want to cover, we have, a stereotypical alien, a movie alien. Maybe the short one, maybe Mars Attacks. Or another cool one. We could make the games Slender. Slender is also a character they've wanted in Dead by Daylight for a while, but it's probably not going to happen ever. We could get a giant, tall, lanky alien creature who is scary, but also reminiscent of movie monsters from this kind of, genre, this horror genre. I don't really know much to do with this one. I just think an alien, whether it's small or tall, has a very good possibility of becoming a character in this game, and I would like to see a version of that. Now let's do the rapid fire here. We could have an evil Santa. Evil Santa would be pretty funny, running around, ho ho ho, killing the teens. It could work. It's cheesy, it's fun. And there are Santas in horror movies, so it works. You could get a character like Predator. Falls under the alien archetype, but more of like an alien bounty hunter. Predator is his own thing. He's an alien, but he's his own thing. Another off-the-wall one would be Basket Case. Like, so a small, deformed creature hiding in a basket. Maybe it's like a stealth character of sorts. I just threw him in because he's an interesting character. We could throw in The Thing. I'm not sure how The Thing would work in this. And I think if they did The Thing, it would probably need to be a licensed one. It's kind of hard to describe this character as not The Thing. So if they were going to do The Thing, it would have to be probably the licensed version. Another cool would be a space robot. There's a lot of history when it comes to old movies and sci-fi robots that kind of look, not like how actual robots would look, but that's what they expected back in the time. There's a lot you could do with this, and I don't have doubts that a killer robot or a sci-fi robot is in the future. Another cool one would just be like a ghost or a Phantom of the Fog. I'd be really excited if they added a bedsheet ghost into this game. It'd be so funny. I would lose my shit. But they could also go down the route of like the movie The Fog, where you have pirate ghosts. So I think that'd be cool. Another very cool one would be The Fly. The Fly. I don't know, half man, half insect. You could do something like that. You could do a fly one. It'd be cool. We also have the Toxic Avenger. Just do like a mutant character, but evil. It'll work. Toxic Avenger's funny and brutal. If you're looking for a gory movie that's also really comedic and cheesy, Toxic Avenger is what you're looking for. And lastly here, we have Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead is Pumpkinhead. I like Pumpkinhead, but I don't think he's that interesting. But he could be a cool license, so I thought I'd throw him in here. There are more ideas for kind of some characters we could see, but they're so kind of minuscule, I don't think they're worth adding to the time. Or maybe I'll touch on them in another video. But everything I've talked about here, I think is a genuine possibility and could work very well in this game setting. I don't necessarily know how they would make each of them work, but I think for the style and theme that VHS is going for, all of these could be good possibilities, and all of them could make great characters. And I just wanted to do a quick video to touch on that. So, thanks for stopping by, and check out some of my other videos. Subscribe, like, it really helps out. And if you have any suggestions for cool monster ideas that you have for VHS, I would love to hear them, seriously. Anyways, have a good one. Thanks for watching again. I'll see you soon.